Yeah, do you wanna? Hi everybody, Mah-Dry-Bread here. I just started recording this vlog because I wanted to do like an update vlog thing on like show updates and like health updates because it's been like a year or something now. But right when I started going to record, one of my cats, Sabu, started wanting up on my lap. Okay, nope, he's going now. Okay, we can do the video now. All right. Hi, everybody. This is a bit of a spur of the moment vlog, just because I have a bit of an opportunity today. I have a little bit of time, and I can use this as my voice warm up since I'm doing some recording with What a Geek later for his channel. We're gonna do some more randomizer. Yes, the randomizer that I don't think we finished in. It's got to be like 2.5 years now, right? 3 years, maybe? I don't know. It's completely my fault. Don't worry about it. But we're going to record more of that later today, so this will be my warm-up for that. I decided while I was in the shower this morning that a fun vlog to do would be to update you guys on health stuff, because I realize I do get messaged about it pretty often. Just people, usually just people in the comments, like leaving at the end of their comment wishing me well, or saying like, hey, hope your health is doing well and stuff like that. So I want to talk about that. I also want to talk about show updates, of which there probably isn't like a ton. It can probably be a pretty small section. And I think that's all I really have to talk about. I was going to say Twitch streams too, but I guess that's part of show updates. So that can probably be in the same section. All right, let's try and not make this take forever. I'm really bad about rambling forever, but I will try not to go on too long. Because I do have stuff to do today. Okay, so first of all, for health updates, I guess I should give you like a really, really quick rundown on what happened, just for those of you who maybe weren't there for it or subscribed after or just haven't kept up with it. August 27th? I think it was August 27th of 2022. I know it was the very end of August. Right near the end of August in 2022, I collapsed at home. What happened was I had like this, I was sitting at my computer desk, like literally right here. I was going to say in this chair. It wasn't this chair. I had a different chair before, but whatever. I'll get to that later. I was sitting here just doing work and stuff. And then I'd been getting like kind of nerve pain type stuff around in my chest and my sides off and on for a good couple months at that point. But I didn't think much of it because, okay, this is going to be something I guess I have to reveal now that I haven't really talked about outside of like Twitch pre-streams in years and years and years, but the old schools know, is that I'm disabled. I have cerebral palsy and I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Pretty much like all growing up, I had to have some kind of special developmental class kind of thing where they were just trying to help me get through whatever my physical limitations were. I was very, very uncoordinated as a kid. So like I had to take gymnastics classes and all kinds of special programs and stuff to try and help me cope with the problem that my body wasn't very coordinated. We believe that is a cerebral palsy thing, although I wasn't diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos until I was like 20. So it's possible that it could have to do with that too. I don't know. I just don't really talk about it that much anymore because now that like I'm 31 now and I've gone through all that therapy and stuff for it, the physical therapy for it. And I don't know. I understand myself well enough now that I feel like I handle things decently well, and I operate pretty normally now in terms of like physically. I'm not super uncoordinated anymore. When I was a kid, I used to like fall down the stairs a lot. I haven't fallen down the stairs in I don't know how long, years, many years, probably since I was like in high school, maybe. So I still have like those physical problems, I guess, but I've learned to cope with them well enough that I don't feel like it affects my day-to-day life a ton. And so I don't really like talking about how I'm disabled because yes, it does still give me physical limitations. And yes, it is a large part of the reason why I couldn't get a really physically demanding job. However, I don't know. I just don't want that label, I guess. Not that it's necessarily negative or anything. I don't know, you see these articles where people talk about YouTubers, and sometimes when somebody has some kind of label attached to them, they always have to put that at the beginning like it's some kind of caveat, you know? I never want to be listed as Mah-Dry-Bread, disabled YouTuber. It's like the least interesting thing about me. Most of you don't even know about my disabilities and stuff. It's the least interesting thing in the world. I'd rather be known for my accomplishments and what I do and what I think rather than, how I was born. Anyway, rambling. So I was used to having some weird pains that I couldn't always fully explain, usually due to some kind of nerve thing or whatever. But, it was concerning, and I was sitting there one night working on my computer when suddenly I got like a really, really bad nerve pain on my left, kind of like armpit area, a little bit under that on my side, actually. It was like so visceral. It felt deep. It felt rough. I thought it was in my lung at first because I was really short of breath when it happened. But months down the line, when I saw a specialist, I think it was the endocrinologist who explained to me kind of how the nervous system works a little bit. And she was the one who explained that the shortness of breath and the essentially the collapse right after, because it was right after that I got up, walked to the next room, told Fatima, I felt this, something's happening, called an ambulance. And I did have to go in an ambulance because like right after that, I laid down on a bed and I could not get up. I was just like twitching in pain. It was awful. It didn't last super long. It lasted like 45 minutes, I want to say. Not like the severe pain of it, but like just the twitching and not being able to move properly and stuff. That was miserable. Spent the night at the hospital until like 6 a.m. when they discharged me and made me walk home. Oh my God, I'm so happy that that was awful. That was awful. I'm so happy that like I had people there to help me. That was anyway. So I ended up having this awful thing where I tried to work for another week, and I was able to work for like another week after that. But routinely when I would sit down to work, not long after, my heart would start racing like crazy, and I would get more pains, and I would just have to go lay down eventually. I'd like start sweating. That's crazy because I was big into cardio at the time. My cardio health isn't quite as good now because I'm still recovering and everything. But at the time, I was doing like high knees and cardio for like 20 minutes most days. It was between 20 and 40 minutes, depending on what I was capable of and what my Fitbit told me I should be doing that day. So cardio health, I was in good shape. So I was wondering why this was happening. Naturally, as soon as like the ambulance showed up and they checked me and they're like, okay, it's not your lung because your chest is raising evenly when you breathe, which was kind of a relief. But then that worried everyone more because they're like, is it your heart? Because I'm getting chest pains and they're sharp and shortness of breath and rapid heart rate. That's scary. So naturally, when I got to the hospital, after multiple hours when they actually like looked at me, they did like cardiograms. Is that what they're called? Electrograms. They did heart tests, okay? And they did the ultrasound wand and stuff so that they could take a look at what it looks like and stuff. And the doctor at the hospital ended up telling me that my heart looks healthy. And that doesn't seem to be the problem. So they just discharge me. Sometimes people get confused by that. I hear that in other countries, like hospitals, their top priority is like, you're not allowed out until they know what's wrong with you. At least I've heard that from German people. And so I've had some Europeans be very confused by that. Here in Canada, the hospital's job is not to diagnose you. The hospital's job is to make sure you don't die while you're in the hospital. That sounds negative, I guess, but it is true. That's what their job is. And that's why when they found that I'm not in imminent danger of dying, so far as they can tell, they just discharged me. And as they were letting me out, I literally asked the doctor, I was like, should I follow up with my family physician? And he just said, yes. So I did. They sent me to all kinds of specialists and tests and stuff. It took a very long time. I had blood work getting done constantly, like every week, sometimes more than once a week. I guess the longest gap I had between blood work was probably like a month. I also had to do like 3 different urine tests, 3 or 4 actually, because I think I had to do 2 different ones for my doctor. And then I had to do another one once I got forwarded to an endocrinologist. easy for me to say, because they needed some other, I don't know. I think you can only do like one of those tests and only test so many things in it at a time. So I had to do another one. So I did like 1,000,000 urine tests. I did 1,000,000 blood tests. That was miserable. I got put on heart pills for a short time, although it was kind of an emergency thing of like, we have no idea what else to do. In the meantime, I'm going to prescribe you these heart pills to bring down your heart rate, but take them very slow and be very careful with them. And I ended up stopping taking those after a few days because it just made me feel like crap. I don't even remember the name of it. The bottle might still be around. I might have just thrown it out. I don't know. I'm never going to take it again, though. It made my chest feel kind of tight, and my heart rate went like really low, like in the 50s when it probably shouldn't be. And I was taking like slivers, like smaller than she was telling me to take. So I think I was probably in danger if I kept taking those. I don't know. It doesn't feel right. Anyway, sorry, I'm rambling 1,000 times, but I'm sure this is somewhat interesting to those of you who don't know the story. People tell me that they always like to hear me ramble about stuff anyway. So, sorry, I need a second here. I gotta get the train back on the tracks here. Okay, so let's rewind a little. I get discharged from the hospital, right? And I tried to work for like a week, but I have these problems, and eventually I just end up bedridden. Because what happens is I start getting like, I was getting like the tingling and the nerve stuff for quite a while before the actual collapse. I would be having a problem where I'd be walking up and down the hall because I take frequent breaks from sitting down. I set up timers so that every half an hour I stand up and I walk around for at least 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. But once every few breaks, you got to do like 20 minutes. It's just for the health of your back. I sit down when I do my work for a living, it's like an office job essentially. So standing up often and stretching often is really important for your neck and back health. And it turns out it's a really good thing that I was doing that for the last couple years because I would be in much worse shape if I wasn't. Because it turns out that the health problem it ended up being is directly affected by sitting down, which explains why it was so hard to work. But even in the weeks leading up to the collapse, I was having problems where when I would go walking just up and down the hall or down the street or whatever, sometimes I would start getting like tingling in my left hand, usually in the fingertips, but sometimes I get it like in the elbow or all kinds of different places in my left arm, usually not like above the elbow, I don't think. Mostly like hand, elbow down, I guess. Mostly hand, fingers. It hurt. Didn't feel very good. Sometimes it's very uncomfortable, and sometimes it proper hurt a little bit. That probably wasn't normal, but again, I was used to feeling stuff like that because of Ehlers-Danlos and stuff, so I didn't really think much of it until after the collapse. Naturally, I tell all this stuff to the doctor and everything, and I ended up having a lot of meetings with the doctor. We're now in like the big fuzzy period of me being bedridden. This is where I spent like 4 months not being able to work, 4.5, something like that. I know that I wasn't working again until at least January, because I remember being bedridden for Christmas. Now, I will say I did actually get to visit family for Christmas, which was nice. I just had to lay down a lot, which was a bummer, but, at least by then I had made a little bit of progress. I guess, okay, let's speed up the story a little bit. Now that we're in the big fuzzy period of like 4-something months of me not being able to work, here's the big story beats here that you're going to care about. One, once I got to the point of being like a month in where I proper could not work, and I realized, okay, my money, like my income has dropped like 80% or something because I can't make videos anymore. So that's massive. I'm the only one in the family with a job. My mother can't work. My sister, she's supporting herself, although she does need help sometimes, and that's perfectly okay. Family helps family. And then Fatima doesn't work. She's busy in school and everything. So it's just me. And it's not like they could just go grab it's not like they can just go grab a part-time job and make the kind of money that would pay rent in Canada. Oh my God, it's a nightmare here. and I got multiple people's rent to pay. It's a family, and I got to take care of them. So that was scary. And it's not like I didn't have some money banked. We had some money banked, but we were trying to bank money so that we could move to a cheaper country. We were trying to bank money so that I could pick up my whole family and move us to a cheaper country to live in. And nope, we just had to start draining that immediately. So naturally, I let people know, obviously, like, hey, we don't know what's wrong. I was keeping people up to date on the YouTube community page and stuff, and Twitter and all that, just so people know what's going on with me, because people were really concerned about me. I ended up having to directly ask for help, which was really hard to do. It's weird, because it's really hard to do that after you've had, I guess, success on YouTube. Does that make sense? Not that I didn't have success on YouTube before, like I blew up or whatever. I had like 50K subscribers, even if I only got a few hundred views on my videos. I was still making like almost minimum wage, maybe minimum wage at that time, and I make much better than that now. But it was always difficult to ask for help, but it was especially hard to ask for help when it's like, I should be making good money. It's just my health, and it's temporary. And I don't even get to tell people like what's wrong, because I didn't know for the longest time. I never got like a diagnosis, because what ended up giving me the answer on what was wrong with me, it wasn't the cardiologist, although he gave me really good tips on who to talk to next. The cardiologist told me to tell my doctor to get me to see an endocrinologist, and also to check for like nerve problems. He was the first guy to say anything but nerve problems, which was nuts to me, considering how obvious it is in retrospect that it was a nerve problem. But when, I saw the endocrinologist, and she confirmed that it wasn't like, I think she does like a chemical imbalance if it's a nervous system chemical thing. Sorry, I don't remember the words for this very well anymore. It's been like a year. But she gave me a lot of good advice too on like what to talk to my doctor about and everything. And my doctor was pretty much stumped at that point. But the thing that I remember that was really helpful from both the cardiologist and the endocrinologist was they both said that it sounded more like a nerve problem, that maybe a nerve conduction test would be a good idea. And although I didn't end up getting the nerve conduction test, it didn't end up being necessary. When I brought up all of that stuff to my doctor, she did mention that in the building that she works in, that there's a physiotherapist. And she's like, would you like to get some physiotherapy? And I was like, yes, I would love to try some physiotherapy. Because I figure, like, even if that doesn't fix the problem, even if that wasn't what the problem was, I knew I had a problem with my neck, because the right side of my neck, this is common with Ehlers-Danlos, that you'll have a side of your body that's tighter than the other side. But if I like tilt my head to the right and I tilt my head to the left, both sides are pretty stiff right now because I'm sitting down and I haven't done my morning neck stretches yet. But at the time, and for, I don't know, 8-10 years of my life, I haven't been able to tilt as far to the left as I can to the right, like by a lot. Every single day I crack my neck by just like flicking it to the right real quick. I can't do that to the left. No crack. It's like once a year I'll get a crack doing that. It just don't get much distance, and there's a lot of stiffness. And even though for like, 2 years before my collapse, I had been focusing really hard on fitness and fixing my posture and stuff like that, damage had already been done. Cerebral palsy, Ehlers-Danlos, sitting down for a living, and not having a very active lifestyle until I was like 26, 27 is when I started getting into working out and trying to fix my body. Damage was done. So what happened was, when I ended up actually going to the physiotherapist, which I think was like a week after the doctor told me about her, I just like called and booked an appointment right away for the next week. I don't know, like 5-10 minutes into meeting Rosalind, my physiotherapist, she was immediately able to just tell what the problem was. It was kind of crazy that like I saw these medical professionals and they had like vague ideas on what the problem might be. Even my doctor directly told me like that she's been a doctor for like 50 years. Like she just retired. I was one of her last patients. She retired before she ever got to see me fully recover. I never got to fully thank her. I feel so bad about that. But she knows I care because I told her a bunch. I told her the whole time she's the best doctor I've ever had. So she knows. But anyway, she said she's never met someone with this problem before. Like she's never heard of this before. But like when I saw the physiotherapist, she takes me into the room and everything. She asked me about my problems and stuff, and she already knew a bit because I let her know when I called to make the appointment in the first place. So she's asking questions about the Ehlers-Danlos and everything, and she is asking about like the nerve problems and the pains and stuff. She wasn't calling it nerve pains at first. She was asking about the pains, and then she was able to tell me those are nerve pains. Although the cardiologist did tell me he thinks it could be nerve pains. And so I had been telling people at that point that the cardiologist thinks it could be nerve pains. Anyway, she pretty much immediately just like, she's like, okay, stand up straight, roll shoulders back, let them sink down and everything. She looks at me and she just kind of levels her head for a second. She's like, your right shoulder is sitting higher than your left shoulder. And I was like, I thought it might be because like, that one's always been stiffer. That whole side has always been tighter, even though I work on it. But it was literally sitting higher on my body. It's probably not by a ton, but I guess it was enough that she noticed. But she was immediately able to teach me some stretches that work specifically on that. And I already knew a lot of the stretches, but mostly what really helped me was one, she was able to do manual therapy on me, which is where, I'm laying down, she's using her hands to like work spots that are really hard to work on yourself. And then also she has like some tools and stuff, she has like this big vat of like this balm that she rubs on you that is like an icy hot type thing, loosens the muscles. I ended up buying some of that because it works amazingly. It's not icy hot. I think it's called motion medicine. It's really good. And she's also got like electro whatever machine thing where she puts these sticker things on you and then like a heated thing around you and it like electroshocky thing. I don't know what most of these machines are called, but this is the kind of stuff that I couldn't do at home. Cost an arm and a leg to go to physiotherapy. I think I got like a slight discount for something. It's like some kind of student benefit off Fatima or something. But it wasn't much of a discount. It was expensive. I only went to like 5 or 6 sessions because that's about how far I got in before it didn't feel like it was helping a ton and it felt like my at-home stuff was doing more. And also it was just draining money and I really wanted to not drain money. I just realized earlier when I said that I asked for help, I never really went into specifics on that because I got so sidetracked. When I say I asked for help, I mean like I actually made a community post and just flat out said like I had left my Patreon at the bottom of a few post just letting people know about health stuff, but I never told anybody like you have to go donate to it or anything. Although just the Patreon link being there made a lot of people just say that you're an e-bagger or whatever. And I had so many people backseat doctor me trying to say it's anxiety. That is just anxiety. Yeah, it's just anxiety that every time I try to like walk down the hall, I would get severe chest pains. Yeah, that's totally anxiety. Oh my God. That was frustrating. It was so frustrating to read that every single day. And it was so vindicating at the end of it when I had an actual medical professional like look at me and say, your shoulder's messed up. Your neck's messed up. And then she took me over to like a skeleton diagram she had with like the nervous system. And she pointed at the neck and was like, okay, you see how your nerves go through here? It's getting clamped here. It's getting clamped here. I had like an x-ray done on my spine and stuff to see like if my vertebrae are okay. Like, it's so frustrating. It was so frustrating getting told constantly it's anxiety when you know that you're going through a genuine health problem. Sorry, that was like the most frustrating part of the whole thing to me. That really bothered me sometimes. Anyway, yeah, when I asked for help, it was like I literally had to make a post where I just said like, hey, if you can donate, I really appreciate it. And I tried to explain the financial situation. I mean, it's still up on the channel if you want to go like dig out and read it, if you want the exact verbiage, because I don't remember the exact verbiage. But I basically explicitly told people, hey, I literally screenshotted YouTube revenue and showed how big of a drop it was. And it was like an 80% or something fucking nuts like that. Which like, what family can survive an 80% drop in income and just be ready for that, for months on end. So I feel awful that I asked for help, but I try not to let it bother me too much, because the you guys who actually, I keep saying the guys who, a lot of you are probably watching, you guys who helped me, so many of you told me not to worry about it and not to stress about it, and that the last thing they want me to do is stress and not feel bad about it and stuff. And it's hard. Cause like, I appreciate that you all told me that and everything. It is just hard, like on a personal level. I don't like asking for help when I feel like I can do it myself. And I guess I couldn't. I guess I really couldn't that time. And it feels really bad asking for money. Especially when, like, I used to be very poor for basically my whole life. Until a few years ago when I blew up from the Pokemon challenges and started making good money. So it feels really wrong to ask for money after that. Because it feels like, like I shouldn't be asking anymore, But I guess in that situation with that kind of health problem, I didn't really have much of a choice. It's hard to reconcile that, sorry. I'm not trying to get serious on you or anything. It's just, that's like a part that still bothers me, is like, I don't feel like I've like paid you back, and I don't know how. Because I've already thanked people, obviously, but like, it doesn't feel like that's enough. And it's not like I can like just give everyone their money back, even if I had money to do that right now. And I don't. I'm still not fully recovered. I'm still trying to work. I'm still not making as much as I used to, 4 months off does damage to your channel. That's just the long and short of it. Look, I've had even much bigger YouTubers than me tell me in private during that time, hey, please don't worry too much. Taking a long time off your channel isn't going to damage it. It damaged mine. Not by a ton, and not in a way that like I personally really care about. I see the views go down year by year. I'm okay with that. I still get a million times more views than I used to before I blew up. I'm still so proud of that. I'm so happy with that. Look at all these comments. Look at all these people who are so happy with the show. So that part doesn't bother me at all. I'm happy with 5,000 views. I don't need 100,000. The problem is just that I gotta be able to afford to take care of the family. And when the breadwinner is suddenly out of commission, that becomes difficult, and I start worrying about them, and I worry about them a lot. I don't want life to get worse for Mom, Finally got her out of that, I finally got her out of that apartment, the one-room apartment in Toronto and everything. She's gotten to live somewhere else for a couple years, and I want to get her a nicer place than that. I want to get her a house. That'd be awful nice. If I lived in another country, maybe I'd be able to afford that, but it's where I was born here, and I can't leave until I can afford to pick up and pack up the whole family, I'm not going to just leave them all behind, so it's just how it is. Back on track to a little bit more modern, I guess, to after I started recovering. As soon as I started doing the physio, I started getting back to work more, as I'm sure you guys saw. I talked about it even in the outros of the first Pokemon challenges back. So I was like still very much recovering, and I was still very much not fully back into work, and I'm not like 100% back into it now even. Like, I'm still working a lot, but my recovery is shaky, There's still bad nerve days that I have. I work pretty hard on it, but there's still times where it's just not cooperating. One of the biggest things that Rosalind taught me was that because of my Ehlers-Danlos, I'm very prone to overstretching. I will overstretch when I'm doing my routine, right? And I won't realize it because she told me it's because of the Ehlers-Danlos, but I will be prone to overstretching without realizing it because I won't feel like the pain in the moment or anything. And it feels like I've got like my normal range of motion, but in reality, I've taken it from too tight to stretched out too quickly. And what happens when you do that is you wake up the next day in really bad pain with a pulled muscle and with awful nerve pains in the chest and the sides, and you're just useless for sometimes a week. And maybe it's exaggeration to call it useless that time when I actually was bedridden for a while. I'm not useless when that happens. I get some work done, but I mean, I'm in pain the whole day, even with the motion medicine, even with like Advil and stuff to try and reduce the swelling. I'll still be in pain the whole day. Anytime I sit down, it's like immediate pain, because when you sit down, even with the new chair that I have that supports me a lot better and everything, and even with me and all nice chest out, proper posture and everything, and me getting up and me doing my neck stretches and my chin tucks and all of that stuff, even with me doing that, look, if it's sore that day, it's going to be sore the whole day. It might be sore the whole week. And how did it get sore? Either I didn't stretch enough or I stretched too much. And how much is not enough or too much is a little bit different for everybody, and there's no easy answer because I have Ehlers-Danlos, and so my body's a little bit different than other people's, and it's miserable. Look, it's miserable. It's a bad situation to be in. I don't like it. It sucks. But it's the situation I'm in, and it could be a lot worse. So I'm trying not to let it get me down too much. Do I have like health updates beyond that? I guess my health update beyond that is just that I'm still recovering. I'm probably right now in this moment in the best health I've been in since the collapse. Yeah, I'm going to say since the collapse. I'm not going to say before the collapse, because although I was getting a lot of tingling in my hand before the collapse, like cardio-wise, I was doing awesome. To the point that like 2.5 months into being bedridden, when I actually saw the cardiologist and he was able to read the reports on like the ultrasound and stuff that we did, because I ended up having a second ultrasound done on my heart. One of those ones that they do at the cardiology clinic where you're on like the exercise bike that's on its side, like 45 degrees while they're wanding you. That was a crazy experiment. That was insane. That must sound insane to you if you haven't even seen the machine yet. That was so crazy. Anyway, the cardiologist, he looked at the results of that whole ultrasound and he let me know. He said that I actually have a very healthy looking heart. I think he said you have a very healthy looking ticker, which was nice. But apparently I have a very healthy heart, and I guess that makes sense because all the cardio I was doing, even if it was 2.5 months before. But I had been doing cardio for a while, so I guess that makes sense. It takes a while to deteriorate. But I have deteriorated, and that sucks. So mentally, one of the other hard parts for me, aside from the money thing, has been that when I was bedridden, I put on like 15 pounds, 20 pounds, and I've never been like fat before. I was a really skinny kid growing up. I don't know if it's like fast metabolism or I didn't eat much. Ate a lot of chips, so you'd think that would make me kind of fat, but no, I think it was fast metabolism, and also I walked a lot. I like to pace when I think, so I walked a lot when I was a kid, and in high school I used to walk a lot too. But I started gaining some weight after I was an adult. You know, metabolism slows down. I was sitting a lot, but I didn't get fat. But when I moved out, I started gaining a little bit of weight. That's when I started to get into fitness more. Again, I didn't really get fat, but I got a little bit overweight for my height. I'm 5'9", by the way, just bog standard. A little bit of a slim frame, I'd like to say. So I can't really carry a ton of weight without looking kind of fat, you know? Anyway, my ideal weight without a ton of muscle on me is like 155-ish. That's a pretty ideal weight for me. Pounds, that is. When I was finally, like, by the time I was like at the end of the whole bedridden thing, where I was still rough, but I was seeing a physiotherapist every week or two, and I was able to work at least a few hours every day. By that point, I was like 182 pounds. That's the heaviest I've ever been in my life. And it's just because I couldn't walk anymore, and I felt so lethargic and awful, and I'd look in the mirror, and I looked fat, and I felt fat, and I just felt awful about myself. I know there's going to be people in the audience who weigh more than that, and they might be like, hey, it's not that bad, buddy. It's 180 pounds. I'm whatever. You could be in worse shape. And yeah, I could be in everything. And of course, some people carry 180 pounds a lot better than other people carry 180 pounds. I'm not that tall, and I'm not that big in general. So it doesn't take a whole lot of weight before it looks really weird and uncomfortable on me, and before it feels weird and uncomfortable on me. It took a long time to try and get some of that weight off, and that was a real problem for me. Like, not that I don't know how to diet or anything. I've been tracking my food every single day for over 1,000 days. If I pull up my phone right now, I can check the streak because it's on my MyFitnessPal. I got it on an app. So it'll tell me how many days I've been tracking my food. The current day, 1,013 days. That is my current streak. That is my tracking my food streak on MyFitnessPal. 1,013 days. That's awesome. So I know how many calories I eat. I know how many calories I burn. I wear a Fitbit. It gives me a pretty good estimate on how many calories I burn in a day. So like I have the math. I know how much to eat to lose weight and how much to eat to gain weight and stuff like that. I was gaining weight because I wasn't moving at all. But I still had to eat, you know? I didn't have a whole lot of choice there. And it's how the cookie crumbles, you know? I try not to dwell on that too much. So I know how to lose weight, and I have been losing weight. I haven't been able to do the cardio that I want to do because that would help me lose weight. I'd be able to eat more, which would be real nice because I could get more protein and stuff in me and feel a little better and maybe clear up my skin a little bit and everything. Get some better food in me. And I have been. And so this morning, when I went onto the digital scale, I came out at, let's check again, because I have another program here for my electric scale. This morning, so check this out, I was like 182, right? I was like 182 when I was bedridden, at my fattest of being bedridden. This morning, I weighed in at, is there any reason why I can't just show this to you? I'm just glancing quickly and seeing if there's any personal info on screen. I don't think there is. Okay, let's see the preview here. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Hey, there we go. 160.2. That's not bad, you know? You can see my muscle mass down there is 127.4 pounds. That's down a little bit, actually. That used to be much higher before the collapse. And in fact, it was 130 before I started losing some of this weight, but you're going to lose some muscle. It's just kind of how it is. Mostly I'm gaining muscle back, actually. I'm looking a lot better in the mirror and I'm feeling stronger, so I'm not going to complain about that. Maybe I lost a little bit of bulky muscle, but a lot of little supporting muscles and stuff are feeling a lot better right now, so I'm not complaining. What I'm happy about is that the fat's down a lot. My body fat percentage was, I don't know, what was it, like 19 or 20 or something? Might have even been worse. Which is, I think that's proper considered fat for my size and my height. Whereas now I'm down to 16.3% body fat, which it considers to be health. Right. I think that just means it's in a healthy range for me, which, yes, that is in a healthy range for me. Don't get me wrong, I got a little bit of pudge and everything. I want to clean that up a little bit. I'd like to drop a little bit more fat, but I am in a healthy range right now. I'm no longer considered overweight. I was for a little bit there. So I'm very proud of myself for that. I'm very happy that I've gotten to that point and that I'm very consistently losing the weight. You know, I'm dropping about a pound a week, which is what I'm aiming for. I want to do it nice and slow. I know I'm capable of doing like 2 pounds a week because I've done that before, but you lose kind of a noticeable amount of muscle doing that, and I'd rather not because I'm kind of working out hard too. Having a lot of protein and everything. I've been on a protein high diet. I say that like I have a special diet or anything. No, I just mean I eat protein high foods in general, you know? Like, I like my protein powder, veggie, fruit smoothies in the morning. That's it. I like having some like milk, banana, peanut butter, some frozen blueberries, and like a scoop of protein powder in the morning. That's like a really nice breakfast for me. I can't always keep my breakfast down super well, but that always goes down well. Nice liquid breakfast always goes down well. Do I just go into show updates now? Maybe I go into show updates now. Do I have anything else to say about my health? I talked about the weight. I talked about the recovery. I'm still recovering. The new chair is helping because it's more ergonomically friendly. I used to have those like expensive gaming chairs, you know, DX Racer ones. And don't get me wrong, they're still okay chairs. They're fine. Gaming chairs aren't like the worst thing in the universe. But this chair was like same price as an expensive gaming chair, and it's just a significantly nicer chair. It's a significantly nicer office chair. Way better ergonomic support. It was expensive, don't get me wrong. I think it was like 400 or 500 Canadian dollars. Like, it was a proper investment, but then again, I sit in this thing like 8 hours a day, sometimes more. All of my work is done in a chair. I don't really have an option, so I have to invest in one that's not going to break my neck and back any more than it's already broken. Damage has been done. It has been done worse because I have Ehlers-Danlos and cerebral palsy, which are things you're born with, but this is how the cookie crumbles. And so yeah, I kind of had to invest in a good chair, and I'm thankful that I did because it has helped. You know, once you set it up right and everything, and it would be nice if I had a desk that was a better size for me, but I do not. That is very expensive, and I don't really want to go throwing around money right now. I quite like to earn some money instead of throwing around some money. So I think I won't throw around money for a new desk quite yet. I think there's higher priorities than that right now. I think that might be it for health things. Didn't mean to go for 41 minutes. I went way out of focus when I leaned in there. Sorry. The autofocus on this camera, I have it set to just try to focus on like the square in the middle, which should just be my face. And like half the time it's like, who's this guy? Let's focus on this thing down here. I don't know why it does that. I don't know. I hope you like the depth of field on the background. I don't even like depth of field, but I hope you like it. I guess I'll do show updates now. I've been streaming more on Twitch. That's been really fun. I put the VODs up on YouTube of like the gameplay part, you know, like what I'll do is I'll start a stream, I'll hang out with you guys, and I'll talk. I call it the pre-stream, where I'm just like hanging out and talking to you guys for, I don't know, half an hour to an hour. Usually I intend to go for like 15 minutes, but then I ramble for way too long. But everyone always tells me that the pre-stream is as fun as the rest of the stream, so I guess it doesn't really matter. And then when I'm going to like play the video game, I hit the record button. I still stream, obviously, and I do the rest of the stream, and then that whole like gameplay part gets uploaded on YouTube. But if you go to the stream VOD on Twitch, you can watch the whole thing and see the pre-stream if you really want to, if you want to see what the hanging out part looks like, because it's a really fun time. But yeah, I stream mostly on Twitch. I do on YouTube once in a blue moon. I'm not really interested in multi-streaming to both at the same time. I always find it causes this weird problem where the chat feels kind of disjointed, you know? And you can put an on-screen chat, and I do, for the YouTube audience. So, like, technically the people in the chat rooms could read the on-screen chat, and they could see the people on the other platforms' messages based on that, but it still kind of breaks up the flow of the conversation a little bit. I don't know. Maybe that works better if you're like a really, really big stream, but I'm like a 120 to 150 viewer stream kind of guy, you know? So when you got an audience that size, you can still get a really fun conversation going. So I kind of like to keep it streaming on just one platform at a time. So once in a blue moon, I do it on YouTube for funsies. My streams are bigger there, but for the most part, I stream on Twitch. I like to not have all my eggs in one basket, you know? So those streams have been really fun. I've been doing a lot of Wrestling Empire, which literally every single time I play the game, someone in the chat tells me that they bought the game and they love the game and they love the Let's Play, even though they have never watched a wrestling match or an episode of a wrestling show in their entire life, just because it's such a fun video game and it's so goofy, and it is really goofy. Like, if any of you know, like, Moist Critical, you might know M. Dickey, the indie game developer, and his weird games like Hard Times, the prison game, and stuff like that. That's who made Wrestling Empire. Wrestling Empire is in the same game engine as Hard Times. It's like a sandbox game like that, like some goofy sandbox where it's just complete insanity. That guy's been making wrestling games like forever. He's always been a wrestling fan, M. Dickey. He used to make 2D ones. He makes 3D ones. They're on phones. They're on Switch. They're on Steam. They're on everything now. And Wrestling Empire is his newest one, and it's really good. It's like one of my favorite wrestling games ever. It's one of my favorite like fighting games ever. It's just such a good video game. It's so goofy and ridiculous and satisfying to play, and I don't know. Even when you get kind of screwed over from the goofy stuff, it's just so fun. You can't even get mad at it. I don't know, it's great. I love that game. Other show updates. I have a Raft Let's Play that me and my friend Athena started 4 months ago. It's been on the channel for 4 months. In the playlist section, I decided I wouldn't make any of those videos public until I have another recording session under our belt, but then we got really busy. So I'm going to have to do another one soon. We want to do another one soon. But if you made it like 40 whatever minutes, however far we are into this vlog, now you know that series exists and that there's like, what, over an hour? How much Raft did we put up? We put up 2 episodes. Each episode's an hour. There we go. There's 2 hours of a Let's Play of Raft with my friend Athena that you can go watch. It's in the playlist section, so you can watch it even though it's unlisted. It's like a little bonus treat for you. In fact, it's not the only playlist that has entirely unlisted videos. I have a secret hidden playlist buried in there somewhere of videos that are entirely unlisted. A whole short Let's Play that's entirely unlisted, just as a hidden gem for those of you who stumble across it. And I plan to do more in it soon. I shouldn't say soon. I don't know how soon, but it's there. And I just drop a little hint that it exists once in a blue moon, and someone will stumble across it and they'll be like, what is this? And then they watch it for a while and they're like, this is awesome. Then they go download the game because the game is free. Some people are going to be interested just by what I'm saying, but I'm not going to give you any more hints than that. So now you have to go find it in the playlist section. Happy hunting. Hope you find something fun. I'm also doing, what's it called? I almost said Borderlands 3, not Borderlands 3. I'm also doing Baldur's Gate 3. Doing Baldur's Gate 3 with Haley. Haley is Brandon. Okay, some of you probably just heard that and you're like, what? Okay, you already know what that means, right? Trans, you already know what that means? When the guy name suddenly becomes a girl name and it's someone you've watched for a long time, you know what that means, right? I mean, you're all going to ask anyway. Like, that's the conclusion you all jumped to, and that is the correct conclusion. But whenever the first episode of Baldur's Gate 3 comes out, I will have a clickable vlog that you can click on in the description, top comment. It'll be pinned comment that will link you to another vlog I've already recorded that's already been up and unlisted for a little while with no views. That just explains the whole Brandon trans thing. Neither of us really want to make it like a big deal or anything. It's just a thing of like, hey, he's been my best friend for like, I don't know, since high school. And Brandon is now Haley now and given that a try. And I will tell you right now, I have known Brandon / Haley for an incredibly long time, half my life. The signs have been there. The signs have been there. I've just given the distance, let her figure out her own thing. This isn't some trendy out of nowhere thing. This is something that you see the signs for over many, many years. Don't worry about it. Just be nice. But I'll have a vlog explaining that. We don't want to make a big deal out of it or anything. It's not even going to be a public video. It's just, it's got to be there as a clickable thing just for the people who are curious so they don't bombard her and me constantly with questions that you already know the answer to. I mean, come on. You change your name from Brandon to Haley. Obviously, you're trans. I feel like that's self-explanatory. I feel like you probably jumped to that conclusion. You don't need help with that one. But it helps if you have it come from my mouth when I confirm for you that, yes, that's what happened there. So, yeah, Baldur's Gate 3. Those videos are up and unlisted, but they're not in a playlist yet, so you can't see it yet. But I'll make that playlist soon. I don't know if it'll be up by the time this video goes up, but I'll make the playlist soon. There's more stuff I have to do with those videos before I can make them viewable, I think. I think I still have to set up like monetization and stuff on them. They're uploaded right now, but they're like drafts, you know, like they don't have filled out information fully. So I got to do that before I put in the playlist. And then before I make them go public, I've got to make the thumbnails. The thumbnails sometimes take a while. So if the thumbnail's not done, but the video is, I just put it in the playlist as unlisted so you can watch it early, you know? Because if you already know where it is and you're going to watch it anyway, then it doesn't matter if it has a thumbnail or not, you know? The thumbnail is for attracting the people who didn't already have the intention of going to go watch it, or who just need to find it and they need to be able to recognize it. But I mean, if you're manually hunting, then you'll find it. Doing streams, doing more Raft. Oh, Lord of the Rings with Helly and Kate. So sorry that we haven't done an episode of that in like a year. We've been meaning to forever, but I got busy and she got busy and then I got busy and then she got busy and then I got busy and then she got busy. And I swear to God, every time that I was free for 10 seconds, she's like out in London for a concert or something. Like the timing is incredible. But we were talking about how we want to record very, very recently. We were talking about this, I don't know, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, so it's probably going to happen soon. So you're probably going to get more Raft with Athena. You're going to get more, well, what was it? Lord of the Rings with Kate. You're going to get more, you're going to get some, the start of Baldur's Gate with me and Haley. And, I was talking to Lucy Pyre the other day, too. It's very hard to get a hold of her. Oh, my God. Very YouTuber problem or streamer problem or content creator problem in general of getting back to messages very late because you're flooded with them and it's like, I don't know, decision lock. But this is a common thing. No shade thrown whatsoever. I'm bad about getting back to messages sometimes. But me and Lucy have wanted to do more of that very casual Stardew Valley playthrough forever. We are just busy people. She is a very scatterbrained person at times, and so am I. I'm not being mean. Don't worry, this is a content creator thing. I swear to God it is. We do want to do more at some point, so that'll be fun. And I'm doing more randomizer over on What a Geek's channel with What a Geek. Okay, those are all the game plans that I have like right now that I'm really thinking of working on. But if I want to throw out just like some names into the ether of some things I might do, I might start some casual streams of Victoria 3 because I absolutely adore that video game. And it's gotten to a point in its development where it's very interesting now. It's been out for over a year now and it's been patched a lot and improved a lot. I liked it on base game, but it is vastly improved now. So I'm very excited to play more of that. I play a lot of it in general, you know, like if I do have free time, I'm probably playing that. But maybe I should play that on the show, have a fun time with it. Also, Crusader Kings 3, people ask me all the time for it. I've had a million people tell me they've tried to watch other people play Crusader Kings, but it's just not the same, which is very flattering. I know what you mean by that. I don't know why you can't necessarily watch other people do it, because I do think there's a lot of other Crusader Kings people that are very, very funny. But I understand that I probably hit that sweet spot of rolling with the punches in the game enough to do some silly things and be a little bit non-optimal and have a little bit of fun with it and weave a little bit of a fun narrative and a story like you're supposed to do in a fun game like that, while also not being useless at the game, you know? Like, I do have a lot of hours in the game. I'm not the best player ever. I don't know every little min-maxy strategy or anything like that, nor do I claim to, but I'm competent at the game and can generally do pretty well. And so I'm generally going to be slowly accumulating power over the course of the game, and that's satisfying to watch. So I guess I can understand how I kind of hit a sweet spot there, you know? Of being entertaining enough, while also not being totally useless at the game. I don't know when I'm going to do that. Never ask when. Never ask when. Never ask soon. Because you're never going to get a real answer. Look, I'm just going to tell you eventually, because I don't have a real answer. It's never going to help. I appreciate that you want more, because that's very flattering. And I love that you love it, because I love it too. But asking when, I'm sorry, I'm never going to have a real answer for you. Unless, like, I literally that week am going to do it or something, you know? But no point in asking. Don't worry about it. Trust me, I'm doing it. I'll do it when I do it. It'll happen when it happens. Anyway, I thought this vlog was going to be like 20 minutes or 15 minutes or something. I've been going for almost an hour. I should get some food in me. I should get ready for that recording that I'm doing in 2 hours, exactly 2 hours. So I should get some food in me, and I got to record some more Pokemon for a Pokemon challenge. I've got to work more on Red Rhyhorn. That was it. I'm working on Pokemon Red with one Rhyhorn, and where I am today on it, is it today Tuesday? Thursday? Thursday. It's Thursday today. I am right before the rival, right before the Elite Four. or right before Victory Road, I guess. Although I'm totally not ready for that level. I'm like level 50? No, aren't I like in the 40s? No, I think I'm like level 50. I don't remember. I got to double check. I think I was a lower level than some of Giovanni's Pokemon in the ground gym, and I think I took like 5 damage. It is ridiculous. But I'm just going to get one shot by Hydro Pump, so I'm probably going to have to try that fight over and over until until Hydro Pump misses, and then I gotta hope Venusaur just uses like Leech Seed 5 times in a row, which is Gen 1. That happens. I mean, that's how the previous Venusaur fight went, or was it an Ivysaur fight? It might have been an Ivysaur fight where they kept using Leech Seed. I don't remember. I'll remember when I am doing the voiceover, because then I'm reading the script of what I wrote down of what happened, you know? Then I've got it like right in front of me. I can't forget. Anyway, I've rambled plenty. I guess I should wrap up the video. Is there like anything else? I'm like, I feel like I have such a bad habit of the moment I hit to stop recording, or not the moment. I have such a bad habit of like, once I'm actually editing the video, I'm like, oh, I didn't say this thing. I should have said this thing. And it's like too late to just real quick do it again, you know, because I got stuff to do. Okay, whatever. If I actually forgot something and it matters, I can like put it at the top of the comments or something. It doesn't matter. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.